Since the last weekend, the narrative has been that of grief, distress, and mayhem. An interclan conflict turned into a military invasion involving the Nigerian army in Nko with loss of lives and property vandalization. This is not a comprehensive report, but an eyewitness account of the conditions of the people of Nko after the invasion of June 26 and 27. We are live in Nko, where there was a massive destruction. This building was razed down, burnt by the military. Properties have been destroyed, businesses ended, and this is a cement shop that has been rendered or razed down completely. It is completely unimaginable that a place that had life with hustling and bustling has been turned into a desert land. Lives have been rendered homeless and properties vandalized, burnt down, and people's means of survival have been taken off by the violence of the military invaders. It is perceived that life will begin to start all over again, which invariably means that whoever has lost anything will come back for a new start. This is horrendous. This is Nko, one of the 5 local-speaking settlements that together with Agoibami, Agoipo, and Asiga make up what is known as Yako. Other local-speaking communities include Ekori, Idomi, Nkpani, and Uget. While some houses have been selected for this vandalization, the reason is unknown. But we are right at the palace of the Obolopon of Nko, and from what we have right here, the building is razed down. A place that was made for the settlement of dispute, where people air their complaints and the community will assemble to work out the peacefulness or peaceful coexistence of individuals accommodated within this community, has been turned into rubbles. We have seen the destruction of fire bring down the throne and burnt to ashes. Complete mayhem.
Okay, my name is Leko Obete. On the 27th of June, I was at the back of my house when I sighted the soldiers with their guns, and out of fear of the guns, I decided to run, but I didn't run far before I slipped because they started firing, threatening that if I run, they will shoot. So I stayed. They kept my pointed the gun at me, and I stood up. And they started forcing me to move. But when they saw that I was panting, they said I should relax, and I told them I was asthmatic. So they saw the inhaler with me, and maybe that made them cool down. And I introduced myself. I'm a retired civil servant. I've not yet been paid. So which made them to now say, okay, they are not going to touch me, but I should take them to the shrines. I told them I don't know any shrine, and I have I don't have a knowledge of any shrine because I don't believe in it. They said I told to take them to the camp where the boys are. I told them, like I said, I'm new in the village. I don't know any camp. But what I heard from them is that they are here to recover arms and their munitions, and also arrest some boys who have been attacking soldiers. But when they, along the way, I saw them started breaking into houses. As of that day, they did not burn any house in that place. They started from Obolopon house, his private home, broke into his house, and then the houses along that part, they broke into them. Even the smallest of the houses, they broke into it. But lucky for me, they didn't break into my house, maybe because I was with them. They took me to their commander because it's like they were lost along the way. So I guided them to where their cars were parked. I counted the cars, the Hilux there. There were in fact, there were 13 Hilux vehicles and one armored car. So I met the commander. The commander asked me, I introduced myself, and he asked me whether they beat me. I said no. But what surprised me is that if they were searching for those things, this type of vandalism shouldn't happen. This type of burning, especially in a palace like this, it shouldn't happen. So that's why I myself came. It's today that I'm coming out to see what has happened. If you get to Nkolo and see what has happened there, it's so horrible. I'm happy you, the private organization, you are coming to intervene, at least get the first-hand information.
My name is Ayomobi Abaloke Efisio. I'm from here. On the 26th of this very month, an army man invaded into this community where most of young men ran out of this community so that none of the army men will have a chance to arrest them. They started shooting children, women, old women, and old fathers were running up and down looking for a safety area. They first started shooting at Nkolo, where a retired army man that just came into the community was born inside the house. An upstairs, they started destroying the upstairs, throwing fire inside it. What I have to do on that very day, I have to run immediately to safeguard my father, who is a Obolopon of this community, because the man is aging. He was here. Look at it that this place is going to be a point of contact. You have to move him out of this place. Not quite long, the army men came in and started burning this place. Thereafter, the next day, we got an information that they are moving down to his private home. We have to move him out of that place. When you got to his private residence, they have destroyed every place in that place, ransacking everywhere. Even money that were inside those houses, they have to pick the money. My father's handset were taken away. Even my handset were also taken away, and other properties got missing. Some of us that were hiding inside the bush, we were there for some days, about 4 days, that we don't have way to come out. When you get inside the hunger, about 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, just got missing, and we got information today that they have died. And up till now, all women who could not have the chance to come out, they are still there, pending when they have to receive a vivid information that they are free to walk around. That's why I'm here to view the number of destruction that have gone around in this community. I'm pleading with you, have to take a walk around the community, you see a number of destruction that they have done. When you look at this monument, this is a symbol of remembrance. The first chief in this community who founded this community, you can look at it, they have cut off the hair. When you now look down, you see the wife of that chief, they have destroyed. And that is a symbol of remembrance from where we are coming from. So that's what I can tell about. Thank you.
The inter-clan conflict between Nko and Onyadama in Yako and Ububra local government is age-long. On both sides, members of these communities have always expected the intervention of the government to broker a lasting peace between them, a desire that is yet to come true.
Stay in the village. Even the ceiling all over. Even the ceiling down. How will they do that?
This is the convent primary school in Ugep where the people are now settled with deplorable conditions.
My name is Reverend Dr. Bright Israel. I am the founder of Grace Life Ambassadors Ministry in Nko, an indigene of Nko, born and brought up there. I can give a clear picture of the situation we find ourselves today in Nko. From when the crisis began, the crisis between Nko and Onyadama in Ububra local government area is not today, it's been long. And I have been in the effort of peacemaking between the two communities as a pastor. At a time, pastors from the two communities was accepted and we came together to find common grounds. We reported to the government, nothing was done. The first crisis that broke up was a serious one and we handled it in that capacity. The recent one here, there was no crisis that came up and there was war at the major road because we were instructed strictly that the army were coming and so we have to run into the forest. That was where we had clashes between the people of Onyadama who are crossing from the other side of the river down to Yako. When the army came in, there was nothing happening in the community. What we do traditionally in times of crisis like this, our women tie wrappers on the chest, but they go naked inside to pour water on the streets to appease. That was what they did. I was an eyewitness. I was standing when the army came down and they started shooting. They shot 2 of our boys and a youth copper. So our women came in and was like, we are not in a war situation that this should be happening. The army flogged the women and threw them inside their boots naked. We also have video coverages to show that. Throw them inside their boots naked with their wrappers on their chest, and they took them outside Nko completely. When they got to the outskirts where we have the disputation between the two communities, by this speculation, that was where the armies were shot. When they came to me and interviewed me, I told them no. If it was the Nko boy that wanted to have a confrontation with the army, with the brutality we saw, when we were told that they were coming for peace, but we saw absolute brutality, we would have responded, but we did not. The place that was mentioned as the area where the armies were shot is at the boundary where we usually slotted out the two communities. That was what happened. And after that, the army, activities, the incursion was in a higher tone, and I personally buried 3 of my younger ones before we ran into the bush where we find ourselves, where we are here at Ugep. And all this while, as I go in and out, what you see in the community as I run in and out as a youth leader, I see how houses are burned, looting is taking place, and so many destruction is done. A man who I know, who has worked with the army, who has a shop close to Mpolo playground, was burnt inside the house with the shop. And my little brother who's selling cement, all this shop was destroyed. When I was interviewed, firstly I told them there was no confrontation between Nko people and army. The peacekeeping they came for was not spelled out. We saw brutality, and when our people begin to lose souls which I am among the people burying them, we realized that it was total war. That was why we ran. We never had anything to confront the army because we know they are superior power. When the situation became tensed, we ran away from all families. We ran through the bush and got into the rubber estate, where we were assisted by Ugeb youths with their bikes, and Dangote trucks carried us. When we came, we had to first identify ourselves at the palace of Obolopon of Ugode, is the paramount ruler. He now saw that the situation was too difficult for them to handle within the palace area. That was why he asked us to relocate from the palace down to this primary school opposite Okoyariko Secondary School. That's why we found ourselves here. And
one moment your life is running and the next you are a refugee. This is the condition of the people of Nko as it is right now. People have left their homes. They are now crowded in places other than their homes. The conditions are not conducive. They are not favorable at all. Hunger is a problem, and those who have ailments of all sorts are struggling to survive even with their children. We are appealing to all relevant authorities and especially the state government to intervene and bring peace to that community and all its surroundings. We are also asking that people in the private sector should also come up and extend a hand. This is a humanitarian crisis. I call upon all individuals who are interested in seeing the world go better, and all churches, philanthropists, and humanitarian agencies to stand up and give a hand before we start losing these children.